Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever the case may be, wherever you're tuning in from. Welcome back to another episode of Red Fullers on Football Carnage, talking about Liverpool Football Club. I have Cav with me, I have Mohammed with me, and I have Drifty on his way. He should be here any second. I'm not going to ask them how they are because I think I know how they are. I'm of pretty much the same. We're all about the same. We need to speak about these Reds, what they're doing. I have a serious look on my face and have a serious hat on my head because we're talking about a serious football team here, Mohammed.
Very serious football team, an amazing football team, and it's just a joy to watch them, and even more of a joy to just talk about them as well. I'm really looking forward to this.
Cav, we're dealing with a serious football team. We thought it's going to be a nice, relaxing season. We're going to get into the season with not much pressure. Of course, all the backstory about Jurgen Klopp, Arne Slot's first season. We thought we're gonna work our way into sort of working up a relationship with him, working our way with the relationship between him and the fans, him and the players, and all of that business. And we're going to give him a transition season of the literal nature. What a transition!
Hey, the thing is, people say transition and assume that means it takes a while. No, it's just going from one place to another, and we seem to have done that very quickly because we have. I think what can be said now, because we're halfway through the league season, is an incredible manager. He is. Let's face it. Yes, he's got to go on to win things, but he's already shown us this far that with a good group, and we have to admit that this is a good group of players, that he's capable of achieving some great things. So, like you said, Grizz, a serious team, a serious manager, a serious club, and Liverpool back on their perch again. And it's going to take another serious team to try and dislodge us at this point. So, yeah, great time to be alive as a Liverpool fan.
Everything seems to be so serious, Mohammed. Serious team, serious football, serious hat, serious chat to start off with. We should be smiling and overjoyed and happy, and we are inside. We are. Cav can't contain his smile. You can't as well. And I couldn't contain my smile over the weekend. But today, every day, every win that is ticked off in my little black book, right? It's making me, what's the word I'm looking for? Am I looking for tense, nervous, excited? Because we know every tick. Especially, Mohammed, I was talking about difficult away fixtures to the Big Six, regardless of the form they're in, regardless of where they are at a club level. For example, Manchester United are in the mud. Spurs, indifferent, can turn it on and can turn it off, as the case may be. Chelsea, Man City, Arsenal. When you go to a Big Six rival away from home, there's always some form of doubt.
Oh, without doubt. And just to go back about the mixture of feelings that you have, that's the beauty of watching football, supporting your team. We're all feeling all bundles of feelings at the moment, mixed feelings. We're feeling nervous, excited, we're happy. We might be a little bit angry at times, but that's football and it's beautiful. But yeah, you're absolutely spot on. Going away to one of the top six teams is always a difficult challenge, no matter where they are, no matter what position they're in or what form they're in. It's always a difficult game. And Spurs as well. They're a top six side. They've got really good players. And on their day, they can cause loads of problems. So, of course, it's a really difficult game. And thank God that we did a really good job. And we're a serious club, as you mentioned, and how you started with.
I'm going to stick with you because the reason why I say all these games, you can be confident. And you can be like, in your own team's ability and the situation. But every top six team, in fact, every team in the Premier League has at least one outstanding player like that can turn a game. Like you go through all the teams in the league, even Southampton, that Dibbling fella, he can change a game on his own. I don't know if every team, but you know what I mean? Every team has a player that can change. Now, and we know in the Spurs team, the likes of Maddison, Kulusevski, who I thought was a standout, amongst pile of whatever, right? But Son, for example, what a legend of the Premier League. You always know that you have to have your A game on. Going into the game, is that how you felt? Because I know you've been making random calls and predictions, but you was a bit reserved, and I think I have an influence on that because I told you to shut up, basically. But really, I know you was
more than an influence.
But really, you was really confident, wasn't you, inside?
Oh, 100%. I was very confident, but yeah, to put it bluntly, when you told me to shut up and start making predictions, I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm moving like a jinx. So you're not gonna hear no more predictions from me. I'm gonna keep my feelings inside. But no, you're absolutely spot on. All these teams, every single team, Leicester, in a couple of days. I think Buonanotte is a very good player.
Who?
I think Buonanotte, Kunde
Okay.
Buonanotte, number 40. He's very, very good.
Okay.
I think Fatawu is out, but he's an excellent player, and that's one of the bottom teams in the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? Every team in the Prem's got an excellent player, but obviously Tottenham, they've got superstars that you just listed out. All of those names that you just listed out there are fantastic. But on the flip side to that, our team is full of superstars in every single position, and their understudies are superstars as well. Every single one of them are amazing. So there's nothing wrong with being confident. Do you know what I mean? And expecting, yes, we're going away to Tottenham. It's a massive game away from home. There's nothing wrong with expecting to beat them, because personally, I think we've got a better team than them. I think we've got a better structure than them. I think we're well better coached, and we've got much better tactics. So for sure, it's good to have confidence. And that's what you need, especially if you're going to want to win a Premier League in such a difficult league. We know what it's like. We've been in this position so many times.
Cav, does that help you from a personal point of view being in this situation? Or is it like a case of PTSD? Because Liverbird says, big up the panel. I'm just enjoying this calm, controlled, amazing, and yet serious ride up the effing Reds. Is it different? Does this feel different, Cav? Like from the campaigns we've had under Klopp to this first campaign. Which campaign? First campaign. First season. Does it feel different, Cav, for you in any way, shape, or form? Or
no, it does feel different. Yeah, I'm with Liverbird. I'm also enjoying this sort of calmer approach, a bit more control. We pull on that emotion when we need to, and we fight when we need to, but we're able to take this thing out of games. You know, we don't get overawed by occasions. It seems we just play the football game in front of us, and we're good at it. I think the difference between this team and the title-winning team is I think we've got a bit more depth in amongst our ranks as well. So we've got that to call upon, and as long as our manager's wise enough to do that at the right times, I think we can go the distance. Maybe winning one already probably calms us down a little bit, because we'd longed for that Premier League title for so long that, you know, maybe the emotion of it all and getting across the line built up. And this time around, it just feels like we've done it once and now we're going to do it again. But well, I hope we're going to do it again. I believe we will, but we're going to do it in front of the fans as well, which is going to make it even more special. I just think this team, how many games we played now in the league? 15.
16.
So we're almost at the halfway point, but we've not just gone out there and won. We've faced some adversity. We've been down to 10 men.
Absolutely. My next point. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
Yeah. You know, the manager's has been struck with some injuries. We've had to make changes in game and between games. And so this hasn't been a plain sailing ride, but we've shown that we've got so much more about us this time around, and that we're capable of coping with whatever the game pans out to be. And yes, we dropped a few points recently, Newcastle and Fulham, because of a mistake at the very end against Newcastle, a red card against Fulham. But yet we still come away from them games thinking, do you know what? I'm proud of that team, and there's real positives to come from that. And we're learning every week about what this team's capable of. And I think that's where our calmness comes from, is that anything can happen in football and anything can happen in a game. But we believe that this side and this manager is able to respond in the right way to those things that are thrown up against us. And when things aren't thrown up against us, yesterday's game against Spurs, where we have almost a fully fit squad, and we're fresh and we're fit and we've got time to plan, that's what we're capable of as well. So I think just the team has given us that confidence so far this season that, yeah, they can go on and do this. And that's ultimately gave us more confidence and a bit more calmness in this title charge.
Ricky says, big up, Grizz. Subscribe from the mob yesterday. Great going for slot. If it's not us, Arsenal, we want you to get that 20th and Mud Unite for good. You know what? That's very nice of you, Ricky. Thank you very much for subscribing from the mob. If you guys missed the mob watch along yesterday, you've missed quite an epic watch along. It was quite fun. That's all I'm going to say. Obviously, you ain't got time to watch the whole mob watch along, but go and watch the highlights. And yes, I had Spurs fans on the absolute ropes. Drifty has joined us. I told you, I promised you he's going to join us, and he is with us. Drift, great timing, because I was just asking Mohammed and I was just asking Cav, what feels different about this campaign? And I want to ask you the same question, because we've been in campaigns before under Klopp. And apart from the one that we won, where we had it won by Christmas, we've been stressed and nervous, and every week is like we're looking forward to it, but yet we're so nervous and scared of the negative side of the things don't go. Like even a draw, oh my God, life is over if we draw a game. What feels different about this campaign currently for you now under this new manager and new coach? Tell me about how you're feeling about this campaign, first campaign. I just told you guys.
Big up everyone, by the way.
Evening, Drift.
Bro, do you know what it is? There's two sides to it. So if you want to, I'll talk about the way I'm looking at it from us afterwards. But just quickly, I think the main reason why I'm feeling different about this campaign is we don't have the Terminator chasing after us in this one. For the last 7 years, Man City have
that's
been
the best way, you know, that Terminator chasing you. Like that's I've just deeped. I'm visualizing what you said there. It's mad.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, like the scene where John Connor's on the motorbike and he's like, I'm on a motorbike and I'm still not getting away from this guy. He's on foot. He's still chasing me down. Like, what the hell is happening there? That's what it's always felt like. And that's why even a draw just always felt like, oh, hold on, we've drawn a game. Oh, that's it. Title's over. Like, that is what it felt like because you knew Man City were going on an 18, 19, 20 game run, and they did. And fair play to us. So did we. So we was kind of a Terminator as well. But we were more like the Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator, and they were the T-1000. Do you know what I mean? Like, we were indestructible to everybody else, but we just couldn't beat them. Do you get what I mean? So what's different about this one now is that the Terminator has been destroyed, bro. So now, even though the PTSD is real, and it's going to take a long time before we truly realize it's not like it used to be. Now a draw isn't as bad as it used to be. You never want to drop points. It's always going to feel bad. But we just dropped 2 in a row. We're still 6 points clear of Arsenal. Because the reality is back to normal now.
Mad, yeah, it's normality.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like a Premier League race is healing itself to a normal Premier League race.
Exactly. Under City, we draw 2 in a row. It's over. It's done. It's done. That's it. Pack your bags. You're going to finish second. Can you win a cup? That is how it would have been in the past. But now, reality is set back in and everything is kind of back to normal. I don't think people are ever going to truly understand. They're never going to truly understand what Klopp and Pep did in the Premier League. They're never going to get it. 97 points and you don't win the league. That's never going to be done again.
Can you, how, guys, like, last few weeks, we've watched the Arsenal fan base go into absolute all sorts of mental gymnastics and spasms, right? They're going into, right? Can you imagine them getting 97 and was it 92 points that we got as well once? 93 or 92? I think was 92 or 93 and 97. Like that, yeah. Can you imagine how they would have dealt with that kind of scenario? I really worry for some of sections of them. But Drift, I think you're spot on, man. It's one of those ones where it's a normal race. It's a proper gunfight. It's a fair gunfight. Yeah. It's like, let's be real. It's a fair gunfight. Chelsea actually a bit unfair. That's 1.8 billion. Are you mad? But us and Arsenal, I think it's fair to say, you know, we've done it. People hate saying the right way, but you know what I mean. We haven't got.
No, it is the right way. It is. The Arsenal and Liverpool do things the right way. I know we hate the Arsenal fan base because of how weird they are. Yeah. But I have ultimate respect for them as a football club. They're classy. 100. They always do things the right way. And they're just like us, bro. They do what needs to be done properly. And yeah, we are two clubs who've always done it the right way. Do you get what I mean? Chelsea, that whole stuff with Abramovich, I wasn't mad at it. I don't mind people being able to spend
sugar daddy money. Yeah, we can't nothing do about it.
You know what I mean? But it wasn't the right way. And what Man City have done, especially if they're charged, wasn't the right way. So we have done things the right way. And the thing is, though, bro, I don't know if I'll say it's fair anymore because we have something they don't. And that's Arne Slot. And I'm sorry. He's about to be the new guy. That's just my opinion. I know maybe I might be getting ahead of myself, but I did my due diligence on this guy, which is why I went into this campaign believing we would win the league. When everybody was questioning me on why I felt that way and what.
Wow.
Yeah, I was getting questioned a lot, bro. A lot. And I just tried to explain to everybody that there was a number of factors. More so, Klopp left a fantastic team for him. but this guy knows what he's doing. He knows what he's been to a European final with Feyenoord. He's won the league with Feyenoord. He was at the top of the league with AZ Alkmaar until COVID hit. Like, this guy's not a normal, he's not an any manager. He is a very special manager. And I think he's proven it to us now, for anyone who slightly was worried. The Fulham game, literally, I'm only glad that game happened because of what happened. I didn't want the points to be dropped, but that game showed the whole world, Slot don't fuck about.
Mohammed, Drift talks about sort of the whole world watching kind of thing. All eyes have been on sort of Man City's demise, Manchester United bullshit, Arsenal, this is their season, Chelsea 1.8 billion. We weren't the talk of the town. We was like, okay, top four, whatever. But week on week, all the different, like Cav said earlier, different types of scenarios have been thrown at us. We ain't played no one. They haven't had no injuries. Let's see what they're like when the scoreboard pressure is on them. This week's narrative was, okay, they've drawn 2 games in a row. Are they having their mini rut? What if Chelsea go top before Liverpool play? How will they handle the pressure? Every week is a new narrative from every fan base and media alike. This week was that. This week, but like Drift and you guys have alluded to, last week's draw felt like a monumental, motivational win without being an actual win. And taking that to yesterday's game, it was time to put on a statement. We even said it, didn't we? We said it in the preview and we talked about it. We said, we need to show the world that stop. We ain't effing about. Stop it. We ain't effing about. And I think we've done that.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. But do you know what it is? People are really just stubborn with their opinions. They just want to die on that hill that they've created. So like when Klopp left, everyone expected Liverpool to be in the mud. We heard it left, right, and centre everywhere. Oh, Klopp's leaving. This is the demise of Liverpool. That's what everyone was saying. But I think all as Liverpool fans and those that watch Liverpool games continuously, we were quietly confident. Maybe I wasn't as confident as Drift, but we were all quietly confident that, listen, Klopp's left us.
We're not going to fall off. We're not going to fall off.
I was confident that we will still do well. Like Klopp left us with a fantastic team, and the team wasn't in a mess. The club wasn't in a mess. The structure was there. We got Michael Edwards returning. Like quietly confident. Did I expect this? I'll put my hands up and say no. I did not expect us to be this good. But let the narratives fly. Let them continue doubting us until the end of the season. And then when we've lifted our trophy, well, if we lift our trophy, if we do,
you know what, though, bro? I totally understand why you might not have felt that we'd be this good because, again, PTSD is a real thing. And I think we all live in a lot of PTSD, even not just from the Pep era, even when Brendan nearly did it and we didn't get over the line. There's a lot of PTSD. Remember how good we were last season, though, bro?
Yeah.
That's the thing I think people forget. The emotion of Klopp leaving and Klopp not fully having the energy to get us over the line is why we failed last year. It wasn't the players.
No.
It wasn't the players were good enough. We were top of the league with 10 games to go. We were top of the league for the longest last season. People forget that.
Like, I know that we're a really good team, but where you said it's PTSD for me, it's nothing else. It's even back in 2008-9 season with Benitez. And he started coming out with
that as well.
You know what I mean? It's just, I've seen it happen to us too many times. 13-14 season, the 2 times with Klopp. It's just PTSD. And like last season, you're 100% spot on. Like, we had a really good team and we faced so much adversity. Obviously, Klopp announced that he left. Half our players injured, playing the kids most games. It was difficult team, but we still managed to sustain a title race up until, I think,
3-4 weeks out. Yeah,
3-4 weeks out. We could have still won the quad in April.
Exactly.
That was how good we were last season.
And another crazy, I seen a stat yesterday. Since the season, the 22-23 season with Klopp, the season before he left, we went on a 10-match winning streak, unbeaten streak in the last 10 games. Since that point to now, we've only lost 5 games.
Wow.
Do you know how mad that is? That's 18 months. We've only lost 5 games. This is a serious team. It's ridiculous how good this football team is. And onwards and upwards, honestly.
Cav, this serious football team went to, let's get into the game. Liverpool against Spurs. Spurs 3, Liverpool 6. You heard that right. Like, this is mental. How often do you go to, as I said, a top 6 rival and score 6? We've put 5 past United, 6 past Spurs, 7 past United in recent years. As I said, look, the spotlight was on us. Yeah. Was it the only game? Yeah, the only game. Sorry, obviously the last game of the Premier League fixture list. The selection. I don't think there was many surprises. I think it was all about Szoboszlai or Jones, and I'm going to get your opinion on that. And then obviously Diaz through the middle, and your opinions on Diaz through the middle. Is this a masterstroke, or are we just waiting for Jota to build up match fitness? Just a couple of points, and we can all address.
Yeah, I think the Diaz one, I must admit, when he was playing out on the left, I never seen him as a centre forward or being capable of doing that. I was actually thinking maybe he could be a good option on the right when we need to give Salah a little bit of a rest. And obviously the Jota injuries kind of stirred some thinking with Diaz and thought about whether he could do it down the middle. And every time he's played down there, he's given you everything you would want out of a forward. Like, you don't lack for anything as Luis Diaz as a forward. And it's a bit damning on not Jota, because when he's back up to speed, I'm sure he'll be back in there. But someone like Núñez, because Diaz is dropping deep, he's receiving the ball well, he's linking play, he's dribbling with it and beating players, he's running in behind. You know, the first goal comes because he's on the shoulder of the defense. He's running the channels, and that's how he gets his second goal, running it off the back of the defender. He's drifting out wide, which allows Salah to come central at times. His all-round game as a centre forward is nothing short of brilliant, and has been when he's played there. So whether he's the long-term succession for that position, I'm not too sure. But certainly every time he plays, he seems to be having a massive impact on our team. And I can't remember what. Oh, it was when we were previewing the Real Madrid and Man City game. Prior to Real Madrid, I said, do whatever it takes, play Núñez if possible, to make sure Diaz plays up top against City. So we've seen it that early back, and he's just progressed from there. So I think he's doing absolutely everything as a centre forward, and I think he's been absolutely brilliant, especially tracking back as well. You know, people are actually likening his performances a little bit to Firmino's, which is an incredible thing. Then your point on what was your other point, Grizz? The other player, you have to remind me.
You're gonna have to remind me.
Jota. Are we just waiting for Jota to come?
My point. Yeah, I forget what. I forget what.
See, Jota's. I think when Jota's fit and he's sharp, because he didn't look entirely sharp when he come on the pitch to me, and that's understandable with a bit of time out. But I think once he is, I think he will be back in that number 9 position. And look, it serves as a great thing to us, because it's a good option to have going into a busy period. But I don't think Diaz's performances, whilst they probably should, would make automatically him the number 9 and continue to play him there. I think that Jota's going to get back into the number 9 position once he's back up to speed. But I mean, that's the great thing about our forward line is I think all of them can kind of interchange.
Variety is insane.
Yeah, it is, and it's a great problem to have, and it's a massive part in our success so far this season, is that we have been able to rotate certainly Luis Diaz and Gakpo in and out of their positions. We know Salah's a bit of a mainstay, but you know, Núñez, I'm sure, will find some form, and he'll have an impact at some point this season, no doubt as well. So it's just an incredible time for the Liverpool forwards to play, and none of them. I think it's a crazy thing that we actually have 6 forwards. I know Chiesa's on his way back, didn't make the squad yesterday, but it's a crazy thing to have 6 forwards that can all step in and all just link up so well together. You know, Núñez is probably the little bit of the exception to that rule, but he still gets picked out. You know, Salah will still find him with them through balls or find him in the box and stuff. And it's incredible to have all 6 forwards and still manage to have a team that's able to create and link up one another and score goals without any proper drop off with whoever you select. And that's credit to not only the players but the coaching team as well, to be able to get that out of the players every time. So Luis Diaz, for me, we're talking about his chant before we come on as well. Like, I'm so pleased he was the one that got the first goal, because then the chant gets going, you hear the away crowd, and it does feed into the players, and they'd have felt at home at an away ground, which is a crazy thing to say.
Revenge season, man.
Drift, you know what it is, Drift? Like, we spoke about that selection headache, and he went for Diaz in a big game, and I think that's quite telling. I guess actually I'll hold back on that because let's wait for Jota to regain full fitness, and then if he still chooses Diaz in the big games, because Man City, Madrid, and now Spurs away, they're big games, and he's picked this style of striker that is very much more like Bobby than very much more like Nunes. Do you get what I'm saying? Now, before people start saying he's no Bobby, there's very rarely you're going to find another Bobby. But there's elements, like Cav says, of his game. I actually went even more overboard with the way Diaz plays it. I said there's a mixture, not on the same level, not on the same quality, but there's a mixture of Bobby and Suarez about the way Diaz plays in that role. But the other decision, I think Gravenberch and McAllister are shoo-ins in a slot midfield. And it seems at this stage, Drift, that it's Szoboszlai and Curtis Jones. He goes with Szoboszlai, and I knew he's going to go with Szoboszlai, and I knew Szoboszlai is going to have an impact. But let's get into the game. He led the press like against Madrid, like against City. He was insane straight
and
from
Leverkusen. Remember how well he led the line against Leverkusen?
Probably our three best performances this season. And you talk about yesterday's game or United, but Leverkusen, Real Madrid, and Man City, arguably, obviously the bigger side, but arguably our best performances.
Yeah. Was you okay? So on the basis of that, was you okay with that selection? Because it's just four good players, like we mentioned before. Like Mohamed was defending last week about not buying another great midfielder because we've got four world-class midfielders already. It's just the way it is, right? Everyone's got to fight for their place.
Yeah, and I mean, everybody's going to have ups and downs in the season. At the moment, Jones is having a slight low, but he was brilliant for a while before this slight mini low. And while he was brilliant, Szoboszlai was having a little bit of a low. While Jones is having a little bit of a low, Szoboszlai's absolutely stepped up. This is what having a great squad is about. Do you get what I mean? And Diaz down the middle for me is completely fine. I think the reason why nobody wanted to see it was because we had two falls already, so they felt like there was no point. And I agree with Cav that he always looked like if he wasn't going to play left, play him right, because he is good enough to be able to cover for a game or two on the right if you needed to rest Mo or whatever. But a lot of people will understand, especially the Colombians. He plays down the middle for Colombia a lot. So we already knew he was capable of doing this. Do you get what I mean? This isn't the first time we're seeing it. And he's just an absolutely brilliant footballer. Chris, I can't believe in the summer. I don't know what your community was like. Shout out to your community. And I adore my community. But I had to rigorously back Diaz in my community because they said he wasn't good enough. And the confusion in my brain at Diaz being considered not good enough, it was confusing me. And I'm arguing with these people, and I'm like, I need you to explain. He's just a one-trick pony. And these are all the things that are getting thrown at me. He's a dribble merchant and all these things. And I was just like, wow, I'm old school. Like, I like technical footballers. I don't need the GA to be GA and constantly all the time to rate a player. I can watch with my eyes. I don't do this laptop football stuff that it seems to have become, where it's just only about how many goals and assists and what was your expected goals and what was all of this rubbish. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just like watching a footballer and being able to understand what he was good at from watching him. And then, the other parts will come. That stuff will, you know what I mean? Like, once you're good at football, with coaching, with understanding, with time, those things will come. And all Diaz is doing now is just proving he was good enough to all the people that said he wasn't good enough. I mean,
you know me, I don't shout. Go on, what was you going to say?
No, I was just going to say this. I mean, I don't even want to go back into the Klopp thing because, like, he's not here anymore and stuff. But I also want to just ask the people who said Klopp's recruitment was terrible. I just wonder where they're sitting right now, because they weren't willing to give any of his players some time. Let's forget Nunes for a minute, because they're never going to accept him, even if he scores goals. He's got a goal and an assist last week, and I was told he's still a donkey. It doesn't matter what he does. Nothing will. But people told me Gravenberch was poor recruitment. People told me Endo was poor recruitment. People told me Diaz was poor. Gakpo was poor. I was told all of these players were poor recruitment. Yeah. And I'm just wondering what people are thinking about now when Endo's throwing up false DM masterclasses in the Carabao Cup. When Gakpo and Diaz are so good at the moment, you don't know which one to play. Do you get what I mean? When Gravenberch is the best midfielder in the league, I couldn't care less what Chelsea fans say about Caicedo, who's been brilliant, by the way. He's not been better than Gravenberch this season. So I mean, even Szoboszlai, guys, eventually, I think he's going to prove the doubters wrong eventually. Do you know what I mean? I'm upset with him at the moment because I know he can do better, but eventually I think he will come good. So I just wonder what people think about the apparent poor recruitment. Because it seems like all these players are good to me.
Rax TV throws in a little comment, thinks I'm not going to bring it up because he's trying to. Grizz wanted him sold. No, I wanted better. If there is able to better, I think Gordon would have flourished like mad. Now that doesn't mean I've given up on Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz's output wasn't as good as his talent. There has never been a doubt in Luis Diaz's ability and talent. The guy's a natural born baller, but we were so accustomed to output machines in Mane and Salah that when we had this new wingers or new left winger, namely Diaz, when he wasn't putting up the numbers of Sadio Mane, fairly or unfairly, because that's the way football fandom works. Because you're used to something, you want the replacement to be like that. And sometimes it's harsh. So maybe my expectations for Diaz to put out Sadio Mane numbers were harsh, but I never doubted him as a footballer. He's a natural born footballer. This season, that left wing combined with him and Gakpo have put out probably better than Sadio numbers. Someone in the chat, let me know how much goals and assists have come from that left wing position. And you'll find that's the kind of output we were looking for. So I didn't want him sold, be gone, get rid of him. No, the reality was if Gordon was to come in, one had to leave. And that one for me would have been Diaz because of the positional. Now, lo and behold, now he's coming to midfield, very much like Sadio Mane came into midfield, central position, sorry. We can now search far and wide for a different type of attacker, maybe, if we're going to move forward. So that was the chat in the summer. Big up Suj with the super chat. He says, big up Grizz and the panel and the community. For those celebrating Merry Christmas, stay safe and enjoy your time with your loved ones. Love for the love. Big up Suj, man, every single time. Yeah, the game starts, and Mohammed, I wanted a fast start because they're used to having a fast start. Spurs at their stadium, we know, can put teams in a spliff, and before you know it, rap, bang, 2-3 goals, quick, because the atmosphere is banging when they're doing well. But I wanted us to stop this damn slow start every game. Mistakes, sloppiness. I wanted it a bit of a Jurgen Klopp style. Let's take the initiative. Boy, did we take the initiative. We strangled the life out of them in that 15-20 minutes, didn't we, Mohammed?
Oh, absolutely. And you're right, because the last couple of games, couple of weeks, it's been a very slow start from us. And it's been quite difficult. And Spurs are the type of team that will just go for your throat from the very first whistle. Like, they'll just go on attack. So we had to come out the blocks rapid. And my God, did we. I think Salah had like 6 shots in the first 20 minutes. It's just insane.
I was going mad. When he had that shot,
when
the keeper put it out, and I thought, but that's a tap in for Szoboszlai. Just pass it to him as a tap in.
Yeah.
And the one where he beat 2 players, hit the crossbar, I'm thinking,
that was ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
That footwork was insane. That was insane. Apparently, he ain't got no tech.
Apparently, he can't dribble as well. It's crazy.
Jumping off a little before we just because you reminded me, Drift, when you said footwork, Luis Diaz skill on the byline.
Oh
my days.
Oh my days.
When we start, when we start feeling like we can just take them liberties, Drift, and just start doing the skills, I tell you what,
it's unbelievable. Shout out to the Tottenham fans though, because we don't really have a beef with Tottenham. I'm okay. I don't know about you guys, but I'm okay with Tottenham generally speaking. But on this one occasion, hold that, you Chiefs, because when we got screwed last year, instead of keeping your mouth shut, you joined in with laughing at us because you felt good that you were the ones who profited from it. When you should have humbled yourself. That was what you get. We showed you. This is what happens when you.
That was another side story, though. But that was another side story with Luis Diaz having the major role through the middle, right? And Mohammed, I'm going to stick with you for that first goal because again, Trent started off with a couple of Hollywood passes that I didn't think need to be paid. Now, I knew our tactics were the high line. Let's put the ball over the top and we will have joy. But I thought we were doing a bit too much and too quickly. But that ball, sometimes you just have to, there's nothing you can do to stop that. This is why Real Madrid want this guy at all costs. This is why the world is watching this guy week in, week out from a fullback, right back position, have so much influence in a game of football.
It's ridiculous. Honestly, that ball was just ludicrous. But the thing is, we've seen this ball from Trent hundreds of times. So many times we've seen him put this kind of... It is just insane. It was just pinpoint perfection right on Diaz, and he has to score. It was just perfect. And it was a good header by Diaz as well.
Good header.
It was an excellent header by Diaz. But the ball itself from Trent was just, my goodness gracious me, it was amazing. But yeah, you're right. Like the first, when we started the game, I think that was our tactic, to try and get those balls in behind, because I think that is definitely Spurs' weakness with like their high line and relying on the pace of their defenders. And yeah, we were trying to aim for Trent going along with some of those passes. But yeah, honestly, that ball, I think it came at a perfect time for us as well, because we started off very fast and we was knocking on the door, but the goal still hasn't come yet. We were thinking, oh, this goal will come. We need this goal to come. I think it was on like the 25th or between 25 and 30 minutes when Diaz scored.
No, 20th minute, 21st minute, something like that. Yeah.
Oh, was it? All right. Okay, cool. So 21st minute, but we were completely dominant for that whole time. And then Trent just pulls out an absolute worldie. It's just unbelievable. The lad is incredible. It's unreal what he's doing from right back. And we've known this. It's not new to us. We know that he's got this ability. We know that he can produce moments like this on a football pitch from right back, which we've never seen before. It's just, he's got a beautiful wand of a right foot and a beautiful wand of a left foot as well. I'm sure we'll get onto that later. But like, the lad is incredible. Honestly.
But that's you know, we've seen him try and move into midfield. That's why I've always said I just want him as a right back, because that's what he can do when he's in them areas. Yeah. Like if you play as a traditional right back, them deliveries is what he can do. He doesn't do that if he's in midfield. He's not great. He can create other type of chances, of course, but that's literally not so much put on a plate, because Diaz still has to time and still guide it in. But when you've got that delivery from right back, my God, just leave Trent there then, please.
Honestly,
he can do that.
When he was from right back, like last season and the season before that, when we started experimenting with it, I didn't like it. I like Trent on this right fullback role where he could just whip in those balls. It's just insane. Like, wow. But yeah, listen, the guy is unbelievable, and I hope and pray that he signs a contract, man. I hope and pray. So
Trent in midfield worked, guys, when it was the end of the 22-23 season and our midfield was really struggling. And then we went into the inverted system to get something more in midfield. That worked because we went on a 10-game unbeaten run towards the end of that season with Trent inverting. So I think it worked. But once you've got proper midfielders, there's no need for it.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say. It worked because our midfielders were dead. Like all of them were dead. They were dead. They died. And they all died in the same month.
And the two Scouts boys showed up because it was Jones and Trent moving into midfield.
And that's why the likes of Cav's not going to like this. That's why the likes of Bajcetic shown as well. Like anyone that could run and move a little bit.
No, Chris. We're not going to do that. This kid had footwork. We're not going to do that.
Anyone who could run and move a little bit were like, oh shit, breath of fresh air, man. Because our midfielders also did. Once we recruited Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, and McAllister, we didn't need Trent to get involved there. I think that was the most orthodox right back role he's played in ages. And
we was running with that last season though, quite a bit with the inverted role, even though we've got a brand new midfield. And to be fair, this season we've seen him a couple of times pop up in midfield. It's just I love a mark on Slot with his shapeshifters. Like whatever, he just changes things mid-game. You'll see him playing.
Fresh pair of eyes.
Pair
of eyes from Slot.
It's good. Sometimes you might need him, but sometimes in games like yesterday, for example, it's good to just have him out wide.
350 of you guys in here and not even 120 likes. Like mad poor ratio. Smash up the like button right now, please, if you haven't already. It helps with the channel. Subscribe to the people. Subscribe to Kopish. Check out Drifty's content. Make sure you go over there and check out the brothers them. Indian Scouts says, big up the panel. Back to winning ways in the Premiership and top of the tree at Christmas. Smash the likes. You never walk alone. 1-0 up. I was very confident anyway, Cav. But these days, when we take the lead, I'm ultra confident. And that obviously comes from stylistically and the structure he's created, right? And that obviously, and then I wanted foot on the neck and finish them off. We get the second goal, McAllister. I love the way, if you watch it back, and I was telling you before I watched it back, I love the way he anticipates space. So even though he was playing a little bit deeper alongside Gravenberch, he sees a space. And I love the way we attack. We're not shy or timid just because we've taken a lead. We know a second goal kills it. Again, it was a kind of a loopy cross to the far post from Robertson, whose delivery is still not amazing and spot on like it used to be. Szoboszlai wins another duel, and we're going to come on to Szoboszlai. He wins another duel, and McAllister's there to tap it in. Like a proper Lampard, Scholes, dare I say it, Gerrard arriving in the box, because he's got that in his locker.
Yeah, he definitely has. You see more of it at his time at Brighton, but I think Liverpool started the game, and you could see that Robertson was willing to put them balls into the box. You know, he was making them overlapping runs, and every time, I know this isn't from an overlap, he hits it at the edge of the 18, but you could see that he was getting forward, and there was a willingness to put the ball in the box because they clearly seen that there was space in behind the defense of Spurs. And he puts, like you say, a bit of a looping ball into the box. It's not great, and Szoboszlai does really well to duel. And I won't speak too much on him now because I think he deserves his own little segment. But McAllister, he arrives in there, he drifts in there. And the really nice thing to see, and this is the development that's been created as the season's gone on, is the three midfielders in Szoboszlai, McAllister and Gravenberch are learning when each one of them can drift forward. Now, this comes off the ball, but it's happening more so on the ball, that there seems to be an understanding that if one of them's going to carry the ball or move further forward or move out of position, the other one seems to be compensating for it. And I think that's a really exciting thing with this midfield, is not only does it work hard, not only is it dynamic, but it seems to have an understanding between each other as well. And that's where this goal comes about, because one midfielder felt free enough to leave his position, drift into the box, and be the extra man in the box. And that doesn't happen if he feels like he hasn't got the support around him to vacate his position. So I think that's really exciting to see. And I think it's something that we've always hoped for at Liverpool, because we've had many great sides, but how many times have we really had a midfield that can offer such dynamism and pretty much everything?
We've had a total different midfield before this. It was all about the forwards, and the midfield would create the base for them to flourish. Now it seems like, dare I say it, guys, now it seems like opposition don't know where our attack's going to come from.
Exactly.
Like where the danger is going to come from. Now you tell me, because I want to move on. Look, they score a scrappy equalizer. I don't want to talk about, not equalizer. They get a goal back. McAllister gets caught by Maddison, and it's a great finish. And that's fine. But look at the mentality and character again, Drift. Like we just rev it up again. And I want to have a little segment, because I haven't got long. I've got Big Six at 8 p.m. So I've got about 10 minutes. So much to talk about. We can't go through every goal because we'll be here until midnight. That's how we operate these days. But Dominic Szoboszlai, again, playing in this, I don't know. First and foremost, just tell me what kind of role he's playing, right? I don't know, right? What role he's playing. But whatever role it is, Slot trusts him wholeheartedly to be the spearhead of this team. And what I mean by spearhead, of course, we know the talisman is Mohamed Salah. But the spearhead is the one that is front line when attacking, front line when we're defending. And he's the spearhead of this team right now. Not the most cultural on the ball, not the most accurate with his ball retention. I get all of that. But I was there last season live with my own eyes, and I saw this man cover the ground of 3 men when we went down to 9 men. And I said to my mates who I was with at the time, I said, this guy, wow, his running power is insane. I hope he can ally that with the technical ability that he has got, shows it more and more. And let's see what he's made of this season. He had a bit of a dip. He got injured last season, then he had a dip, and he didn't regain his form after a scintillating start. And that's fair enough. But this season, slowly but gradually, and Slot has come in and picked out the strengths and weaknesses of all the players, and he thinks Szoboszlai is that guy for him to be the spearhead. That second goal was the epitome of Dominic Szoboszlai. He wins the first duel. The defenders left in his wake. So he's won the first duel. He said, all right, you still breathe heavily. I'm gone. He's gone. He's made another 40-yard sprint. Mohamed's found him again, and he's put it away. Bro, you're talking about Terminator early on. We may have our own version.
You know what? The funny thing is as well, I've been giving Szoboszlai a lot of criticism because his passing has been really annoying me.
Yes.
Because I feel
Decision
like
making.
his decision making. He never looks sure of himself on what's the right ball to play and when to play it.
Yeah.
And as a number 10, that is worrying. It is worrying because you want your number 10 to be extremely
decisive, making sure.
Yeah, that's the whole point of being a 10, is to be decisive, to make the right move and the right decision, make the right pass. So I'm still a little skeptical when it comes to his creativity from playing within that 10. But what we can't deny is that Szoboszlai is a machine, as you said. And when it comes to his overall impact in the match, he will impact the game defensively, even if he doesn't affect it offensively. Now, I've had a lot of people shout at me, but which if we say we've got number 10 and all we're talking about is defensive work, what kind of rubbish is that? He's the whole point of being a 10. And I get that. I do. That's where my frustration lies with him. But I think that will come because he's got the talent. That's why I'm not going to give up on him. Yes, I've put him on fraud watch. Yes, I've been extremely angry with him at times. Yes, I think up until this season, it couldn't be seen as anything other than he's flopped so far, but the talent is there. The talent is there. And I think we're slowly now seeing, as he's becoming a little bit more accustomed to the team, to the environment, etc., that he is starting to slightly make better decisions of his passing, and he is slightly making more better runs into the box. So I just hope that keeps developing. And I also don't want him to lose sight of who he was. Do you remember when Thomas Rosicky came to the league and Wenger just totally coached worldies out of him? I don't want us to do that with Szoboszlai because this guy can hit worldies at any moment. I want him to still remember who he is because for the last 6-7 months, I think he's forgotten that. He even looks gun shy. He doesn't even look like he wants to shoot anymore. I don't know if you agree, but he doesn't even look like he wants to shoot anymore.
I think it's a confidence thing. The more his all-round game improves, he's going to go back to his shooting. But, you know, I just want to very quickly move, like, we've got so much to talk about, and I've literally got 5 minutes left. With our perception, do you know what it is, Drift? Over the years, we've seen coaches and players of the elite level change roles. So, you know, numbers meant something to us in days gone by. And number 6 was a number 6, destroyer, defensive midfielder. And number 5 was a centre half, man marker. A fullback was number 3. You know, 2 was a fullback, yeah. Number 10, number 7 played like X. 8 played like X. I think different coaches have changed different roles of players to suit their needs for the way they want to play. For example, we've seen inverted fullbacks. For example, we've seen DMs that Klopp prefers like an endo destroyer as opposed to Slot wants a playmaker at number 10. And various other roles and positions we can go for the team. I think, and this is going back from what I studied from Arne Slot, I think he likes his 8/10 to be the spearhead of the press so for example, I don't know how you pronounce his name, man. So Matt's Wifer and Kokchu, you know, if people want to say pause, but come on, it's a grown-up channel here, right? But you know, we ain't got that mentality around there. But look, those 2 players that I've mentioned for Feyenoord were used as people thought conventional 10s or attacking 8s, but he used them as spearheads of pressing. I think Slot is asking Szoboszlai to play a different type of 10 role. And it's not the classic perceived 10 role like a Ozil or a Odegaard or a Zola or a Bergkamp, because that's what we want. That's what we expect of a number 10. I don't think Jurgen Slot's requirements are like that. It may be, he may have the ability to play that. I don't think he'll ever have the ability to play that. Anyway, I agree with you. But what he's got, I think Slot thinks is unique for him and perfect for him. We can't argue. Because look at the fucking record. 1 defeat in 20 motherfucker games. On top of everything. And people can't tell me he hasn't been integral. And this is why I had a massive row with Toby on the show yesterday about I watch my team every second of the game twice. I watched 90 minutes twice. And he's been integral. That doesn't mean he's got goals and assists and his decision-making is spot on and he picks out the right pass every time. No, I agree with everything that you said about that. He makes me pull whatever hair I got left, you know what I mean, out. But I know what he's doing for the team. which a lot of people aren't
yeah.
seeing. And I know you want to speak about it, Mohammed, but you literally got about 90
I
seconds.
know we've hardly got any time, but I agree with everything that you said. But we know that Slot wants him to score goals as well. Like,
Yes.
he
Yes,
came
he
out
said it.
like, of course, you're 100% right. This number 10 role is not like what we've seen before. It's like having Robertson at 10 with his engine. We know that he's got 3 lungs, he's got a 3-liter engine, and he can just get about on the pitch. But yesterday, every single goal, look back at every single goal, he's in the box for them. In every single moment, he's in the box.
He's there.
Scores a goal with an excellent finish, by the way, through the goalkeeper's legs after winning the flick on, which is amazing. And then also gets an assist. He was just incredible yesterday. And you're 100% spot on in regards to that position is what Slot wants, somebody who can press, who can be a monster, begin the press for us, cover the pitch, cover the ground, but also get some goals, get some assists. And he did that yesterday. And that's what all of us fans, every single Liverpool fans, that's what we've been calling out for. That's what we wanted from Szoboszlai, because we've seen videos of him scoring screamers for Red Bull Leipzig. And we thought this is the guy that we're going to sign. We're going to sign this techie number 10 who's going to score screamers for us left, right, and centre. We haven't seen that. We've seen something else. But it's still, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. It's a great thing because the engine's insane. His running power is insane. But now if he can get these goals, get these assists, chip in, it'll be fantastic. And if he can find himself in that final position a lot more like he did yesterday, boy, oh boy, we're on to we've got an absolute world-class footballer on our hands. And he's only 24.
Do you know, very quickly, very quickly, because it is linked. If you look at that team yesterday, of course, we've got stars in every position, but we also have players, much like Szoboszlai, that have been doubted. You know, you look at Szoboszlai, he's been doubted at his time at Liverpool, and now he's really stepping up, and we all are loving the performances we're seeing. Gravenberch has been doubted since he's been at Liverpool, and now we're saying he's best midfielder of the world. But one guy I just wanted to quickly pick out to make sure his name gets mentioned is Joe Gomez. It was outstanding yesterday, and I always say it. I wasn't convinced by Joe Gomez at centre back going into this season because I thought that's where Slot seen his position, right? But he's proved me wrong. And you know what? It couldn't happen to a better guy because for all the injuries, he just gets his head down, works hard, comes back, tries, never moans, nothing. And that's what gives, for me, that's what makes this club so special amongst a lot of other things. It's the substance that we have is we stick by our players. Forget the outside noise. The club sticks by our players and we give these guys chances. And now we had at the spine of our team, when you think about Joe Gomez, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, and Diaz, all players that have been doubted recently, all stepped up and put in a masterclass yesterday that aided the stars that will get the figures like Salah to go and get the numbers.
Yeah.
So
I'm so glad you said that.
I'm so glad you said that as well. You know what? His passing, and you know what? 40-year-old Virgil's just reminded us how many times he just punched that ball through midfield and broke the line. I think one of the goals is because of the way he finds. Diaz. It's his pass, right?
Even against Fulham, it was his pass that created the goal for Joe. When he broke the lines with a beautiful, took 3 players out of the game with the pass into midfield, bang, straight away. So Joey, man, I love Joey. I've always loved Joey, man.
Luis Diaz, we've touched upon. Szoboszlai, we've touched upon. We can touch upon so many players. I thought Robertson, after a shaky first 5 minutes, where they targeted how we targeted their weak points, they were looking to target us. And Kulusevski is some player, guys.
Bad boy player.
I was going to say it'd be criminal for us not to mention Robertson.
He had Robertson on a little bit of a problem situation a couple of times, but I thought Robertson fought back tremendously and had the upper hand. We, of course, can talk about the king until the cows come home, until the night ends and the day starts and then starts again, because you can never run out of talking about the king. He's mad. Like, someone told me, messaged me, he broke 6 records on the same fucking day yesterday. And I don't even want to tell the 6 records because people get bored of records. You know what it is? People can't take it now. It's driving them insane because they've had to change the narrative, agenda, and opinion every week. They make a new hurdle. Create a new hurdle for him, and he just goes over every single hurdle. And I've been hearing it for the last 7-8 years. So we can never tire of talking about Mohamed Salah. But 6 goals to score and show the world, because I think the world is watching us now because we're on top of the Champions League. Teams like Champions League people, they don't want to draw us, Nobody wants to draw us. But I must ask, because this is a tough one, and I think all 3 of us may give different answers. I don't know. It's intriguing. I'm going to start with you, Drift. Who's man of the match? I don't
We'll
know.
see.
Man.
We break the rules on Coppish, so
Okay.
we hand out doubles, triples if we have to. That's just how it goes. Why not? Why does it always have to just be one man in a match?
Yeah.
So yesterday in our we had a record. We had 4, including Slot, in our top ranking. We've never had 4 in one game before. Which was Gomez, Szoboszlai, Salah, and Diaz. Oh no, sorry, Slot made 5. Yeah, so we had 5, including the manager. If you really force me to pick the man in the match, it would have been Diaz. If you really forced me to pick the man in the match, I would have gone Diaz. But
Mohamed,
all of them were smoky yesterday. All of them.
Mohamed, if I'm more than 10 minutes late from the big 6, I get -3 points.
100%. All of them were amazing, but for me, it was Szoboszlai.
Kavya?
I'll keep it short. Szoboszlai.
Fair enough. So, Szoboszlai, I'm going to go through super chats very, very quickly. Yo, what's good? You send the most amazing super chats. I'm going to actually dedicate a show to the technical points that you raise. Diaz is in a good left wing. He can't create from half space cross. Isn't good at isolating fullback in the mid block unless he has space to carry on to. We can't just answer that very quickly. That needs in-depth show. Crava, Diaz, and Salah front 3 is frightening. I think we're frightening as it is, man. Minus Crava, but okay. Who says no to Cravadonna? Yo, what's good again? He's not sure Slot placed a false 9. The forwards were just narrow and was asked to attack the space between the 3 centre backs. Mac asked to do the same. Szoboszlai imitated a 9 central striker a lot of the time. Again, brilliant tweet message, but we need to look into that. And LFC Badder says, cook Mr. Burst Out Bubble on the big 6 and cook him. He's referring to Toby, who's been waiting for our bubble to burst. He's praying. And Red Mist just simply says, Szoboszlai. People, this has been, wow. Like, time's flown. 1 hour has just flown. Because
by the way, Goose, I don't think you realized you said Jurgen Slot.
I know.
You know me, I'm loyal, innit? I'm like,
I'm feeling it, bro. We moved.
I can't forget that, man, because yesterday was a Jurgen Slot type performance, people. It was the blitz mania of Jurgen, and it was the calmness when every time we conceded, okay, no problem, let's go up the other end and score another goal.
Make that a thing. Make it a thing, Jurgen Slot. Make that a thing.
We need to show respect to Slot, man. Allow Jurgen.
We need to give credit to Jurgen at the same time. Do you know what I mean? And Slot.
He left the squad. Slot does the bits. It's Jurgen Slot, bro. It makes sense, bro.
I love it. You did the accident with a fix.
People, smash up the like button if you haven't. Subscribe if you haven't. Drifty, Cav, Mohammed, we will catch up real soon. We're going to try and make this a regular show. We're trying our best. Everyone's busy in their own right, but we're working our way. And the more Liverpool win, the more we want to talk about them, because that's how life works, right? Peace, love, tranquility to all. Take care.
Big up.